Alright, today we're going to be doing level math. We're going to explain how to figure out our LRV and our URV. Alright, so to figure out our LRV and our URV, we have a formula. Our formula consists of little h, big H, H max, little sg, and if you're not aware, I'm going to write it down. SG stands for specific gravity. So, like I said, SG stands for specific gravity. If you're not aware, the specific gravity of water is 1. All right, this is going to be our given information once you take your measurements out in the field. All right, so we're going to label our little h right here. It's going to be 10 inches. We're going to label our H max, so that's from here to here. That's going to be 90 inches. And then our little SG will be 1.1. Our big SG is going to be 0.9. So as you can see, we went ahead and plugged in all our information, and here's what it's looking like. All right, so we first did our first parentheses and we got 9. Then we got to subtract our second set of information, and that equals 110. And then once you do it right, you should end up with negative 101. All right, now that we figured out our first number, keep in mind this is known as your LRV for this example. And we always do our LRV in inches of water. So if you notice, the first part of the formula is similar to the LRV. So what I went ahead and did, I already solved those numbers. I plugged those in, 9 minus 110. The only new addition is H max, which is when the tank is full, which is 90. And then we still got to remember to multiply by big SG. In this case, it's 0.9. So let's go ahead and figure that out. All right, we figured out our math. 90 times 0.9 is 81. You got to do it in order. 9 minus 110. Then you add 81. And you should be getting negative 20, which will be your URV. Now that we solved our LRV and URV, we got to remember that our unit of measure is inches of water. When the tank is empty, the instrument should be reading negative 101. When this tank gets full, the instrument will now read negative 20. Now that we have our URV and LRV, it's time to solve for span. So we got to subtract negative 20 minus a negative number, and to flipping it, making it positive, so our span should be 81. All right, so like in usual fashion, we get our span, divide by 4, and now we have our increments. All right, now that we have our increments, we start with our LRV, negative 101. We add our increments, we add them 4 times until we get to our URV.